All right. Okay, just for camera, can you tell me your name?
My name's Adam Moss.
And so I was talking to Ann, and she said when you first started out that you really weren't trying to become a pediatric or endocrinologist, but it developed that way. So how did your heart for just kids and with diabetes, how did that all emerge?
I mean, I definitely didn't have any strong desire to take care of kids, it's mainly because of just the moms, just in, all that was involved with taking care of the, can we just step back?
Okay, that's okay, so we can start over.
So most of my training, is throughout my career was, mostly involved with adult medicine. I got some training with kids when I was in my fellowship for endocrinology. And, basically, when I came here, I thought, I'd do a favor to a few different people that, a doctor or whoever who might call me, to take care of a kid. But I didn't have a strong desire to take care of kids. I was going to mostly take care of adults. But once, I started taking care of some kids and, just got to know their families, it just became, my most favorite and most rewarding thing I could do. Just, watching the moms just every day deal with kids who are struggling with chronic diseases, and just how much of themselves they just had to dedicate and sacrifice for their kids, was truly amazing. And just to watch the kids on a day-to-day basis just, cope with diseases like type 1 diabetes that are challenging, taking multiple shots every day, measuring every single thing they ate or drank, and doing it gracefully and doing it so that, most people around them would have really no idea that they, had such a struggle to deal with, because it didn't look like a struggle.
And I talked to one of your moms, I believe that her daughter's name was Tana, and she talked about how you gave her your cell phone number. She said, I think he's crazy. I tell him I think you're crazy, but she says he does it. But she talked about what a comfort as a mom, that if an emergency goes on, that she knows she can get you. So why did you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think especially with when you have kids that have type 1 diabetes, there are things that happen. The kids are on insulin pumps, or they get sick or ill, and they need to have contact right away. And I always tell, all the parents that we see that, it's only going to take 30 seconds or a minute of my time, and there is truly nothing, that anything that I could do that will provide them any comfort or ease, in any situation that would require such a little amount of my time would be just ridiculous not to provide that for them.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, tell me if it's not how you feel, but do you look at this more as a mission than a career? Because you seem to have such a heart, your I don't know if calling is too strong of a word, but just, it's more than a doctor. It's you're really trying to reach in there and impact this entire family's life, because it so much affects their whole family day to day.
Yeah, well, I think, just from my perspective all along, I just think that being involved in medicine is one of the most amazing privileges that somebody could have in their life. I have literally these families, that will trust me and entitle me to take care of something that is so personal to them on a daily basis in their child. And so for me, I don't know if I would say a mission or a calling, but it is all that I do, but it's just my response to that trust, to that place that I've been given. It's not something that I've earned. It's literally something that I've been given and gifted by them to play a part in their lives.
So talk to me about your the camp that you put on. What's it about?
Yeah, so the camp idea came out just about 4 or 5 years ago, where I was just, I work out at Camp War Eagle, would work a week a year just volunteering, and take care of all the kids in Northwest Arkansas that would come to camp, and just would just see, some of the kids that have diabetes, and the kids that don't, and looking at their families, just seeing that there really is a need, for families, to go to the camp, to go to a camp. Let me back up again.
That's okay.
So the idea for camp basically came about just in interacting with some of the families that I did with who have a child affected with type 1 diabetes. And what I saw was, you know, that those kids who have diabetes, when they had siblings, you know, one of the things that you would see is that the kids that have diabetes get a disproportionate amount of attention from their parents, you know. And you know, I think if you're any sibling, you know, and you see these other kids that mom and dad are paying closer attention to, whether it's positive or negative, that could potentially have an effect, you know. So that was one aspect that I thought, you know, if we could have a situation where we could get entire families together to come to a great place like Camp War Eagle and just spend a weekend, you know, so that all the siblings could see other families, you know, that function exactly like theirs, and that they could see that my family's normal. Like, this is normal for tons of families out in Northwest Arkansas. And then at the same time, you know, just I think the greatest thing that the camp offers for parents is just a place where they can have community, where they can, you know, just literally not have to be seeking out people who have, you know, kids who are affected with type 1 diabetes. It just would be there, and it would be present, and it would permeate, and it would just be so easy to be able to have discussions with people of all different, you know, backgrounds, socioeconomic places, so that they could all be there, you know, to support each other, and then, you know, exchange their information, their Facebook addresses, their emails, their cell phones, so that, you know, when they have a child who maybe is 10, you know, who's struggling, you know, when they're 11 or 12, they can contact, you know, another parent whose child has already gone through that, and just have conversations about, you know, what that looks like, you know, what will they need to look for as far as, you know, warning signs or concerns, and how do they help their child, you know, safely navigate through, you know, growing up with type 1 diabetes.
So through this journey with you, has there been a quote or a scripture or anything that has been an encouragement? I'm sure along the way you've had different ones, you know, because this is personal. So there's ups and downs on your journey too, I'm sure, as you see kids. So has there been a scripture or a quote that comes to mind that...
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite, you know, scripture, you know, is John chapter 16 verse 33, and it's basically Jesus talking, you know, and Jesus is speaking to the disciples and says, you know, tells them and promises them that you will have troubles in the world, you know, but take heart, for I have overcome the world, you know. And so for me, it just, you know, that means to me just like with these kids and with all of us, you know, there are going to be things that happen. You know, we're promised that we're going to have trials and hard times and stuff like that, and that's normal. Everything's not going to be working out perfectly for us all the time, which, you know, in America, you know, seems like sometimes we have more than we really need, you know. But we have someone that we can look to, you know, that has been able to take on all that stuff and was able to overcome everything, you know, and did that all for us. So, you know, I mean, for me, you know, that's how I see all these kids, you know, just that they have this tremendous trial, you know, but, you know, I can just be there to walk alongside them, you know, and just along with their families, and just try to help them, you know, overcome it, and realize that, you know, that they can still have success, they can still lead, you know, a normal life and accomplish anything that they want.
Thank you, Dr. Moss.
Yeah.
What a